Hi, it's me again, Lucy McCall of Ala Mesa Miracles. This is As Above, So Below, talking to you about the week of September 27th through October 4th. And it's a very mellow week. So isn't that amazing? When do I ever say that? Even with an eclipse, we're having a mellow week, according to the aspects. So, also, I'd like to say now's a good time to go ahead and like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And also, you can always do that for other people. We all need it. And I do readings and I sell herbs. So let me know if you need anything. Get a hold of me through Facebook, Lucy McCall. Okay, so this week, what is really wonderful, the big thing, is a grand trine. A grand trine is when you have 3 points involved, usually of the same element. In this case, it's water, very emotional. And then we have the planets involved are Mars, Venus, and Saturn. And when you have those three together in a good alignment, even though the Venus is in Scorpio, but and Mars is in Cancer, and Neptune is in Pisces. Even though Venus is at a low point, a detriment, it's still very auspicious. And what I'd like to say about it mostly is that it looks like a good time to negotiate a relationship, like of all kinds, but with Venus, Mars is usually romantic, and with Saturn, that usually means we're going to get serious about this. And also just having a Saturn-Mars trine is great for getting work done, and Saturn trine Venus is, again, great for just sorting out the relationship and seeing how, if it's something you want to do long-term or not. And, but it's also that can, if there's no love in your life like that, there's your creative projects. It's a great time to get a lot of creative projects done, and just, or at least the main one, a big focus on the creative. And being Mars is in Cancer and it's autumn in the northern hemisphere, great time to be canning and putting up food, putting up your harvest if you have it. And so that's pretty much the main thing there. Now, this eclipse we're having, which is on Wednesday, October 2nd at 12:49 a.m., is a solar eclipse. And yep, the thing about it is that we're probably not going to see it. And I forgot to check out the pathway of the eclipse, but you can look that up on the internet just to see where the eclipse is actually visible, and where it's going over visibly is usually where things are most affected. But it is a positive eclipse in that it's only conjuncting Mercury. And Mercury, and it happens just after Mercury has combust the sun, which is an exact conjunction of the sun and Mercury. They call it combust, or cazimi is an ancient Hellenistic word that people are using more now. In the old days, in my early astrology days, a combust Mercury was not considered great. It was considered kind of like blurry vision, like blinded by the light. But nowadays they're saying, and mainly it's because of the ancient information, that Sun conjunct Mercury is actually the shining the light on intelligence. Mercury is intelligence and logos and such. So we're really, it's just, to me, this eclipse is going to be very clarifying to most of us about something in our lives. It's in Libra. So again, we're in the Libra season. Libra rules the 7th house in astrology. Usually that's what people think. And so again, it's partnerships, marriages, and those kind of alignments. It could be business too, and just good old friends. But we have all that going on. So it's very much a relationship time. So because of all that, and those really are the main alignments I want to talk to. Oh, except for one more. Jupiter sextile Chiron is happening between now and pretty much October. That's a very positive alignment between Jupiter and Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer, also the mentor, the healer in general, and has to do with us healing ourselves, or even the medical people, what they're deciding about things or coming up with, or also other healers coming up with answers, hopefully. There's a lot of questions these days. So anyway, with Jupiter, this expands that information, that knowledge. It becomes more philosophical. It also I think it's going to be great for teachers, especially, and students, but also for healing of all sorts. So there may be some new ideas that come up that we've needed to hear about in the medical world, as well as just the general healing world of the old traditions of herbs and acupuncture and such. So it's an exciting time for that. So basically, we just have a really positive week, which is a very rare thing with an eclipse. Usually an eclipse kind of shadows things, and it may be shadowing, but it's not shadowing us so much. So there, and so I thought, because of it's apple time, there's apples in this tree, and apples have many attributes, but one of the things, I'll speak first on the magical or the flower essence of it, is that I like to make a flower essence of apple, and I put it in my traditional love potion for working out the differences between men and women, because there's such an old story about the apple of knowledge, and who knows what that fruit tree really was. It was in the Middle East after all, and apparently, and so it wasn't necessarily in Kazakhstan where the original apple came from, but it is really it represents where the first distrust between men and women came about, and where blame and you did this and you did that and that kind of trip. You know the story. Most all of us know the story, because we all come from in this country, most of us come from the Hebraic traditions. But thing is that I make a flower essence out of that because I feel it helps heal that very issue, the kind of the original split between male and female understanding each other. So that's why I put it in the love potion. And also, when you cut an apple crosswise, there's the star, and the star represents the goddess. The pinnacle represents the goddess. But one of the reasons, and a lot of you probably already know this, but it has a lot to do with the cycle of Venus, and how Venus, there's some other words to call it too, I can't remember now, but how Venus, over a period of 8 years, actually, in its retrograde motion and forward motion, ends up making a pentacle, a perfect pentacle in the sky. And this happens every 8 years. So we really honor that apple for the Venusian qualities of it. And another thing is, which is also somewhat Venusian, is that, and here we are in the Libra season, I already said that, but Libra rules the urinary tract. It rules the kidneys mostly. And it is an excellent one. The root is excellent for breaking up the stones in the kidneys and urinary tract. So it's a good one. So like if a person has stones and they think they can resolve it without surgery, it's great to drink apple juice and lemon juice, actually, and then with an herb called gravel root. But also the root of the apple is very good for breaking up the stones. So, which is kind of interesting to get a hold of, the root. I've done it. It's a little bit of a job. And let's see, what else can I say about this lovely tree besides it tasting good, and of course it's sweet. And this particular kind is the what do they call it? The Black Arkansas, which has a local story, and that somewhere, I forget which century, well, not this one, because these trees are at least 100 and something years old, but there was a train wreck down in Embudo, and in the train wreck were a bunch of apple trees, and they were Arkansas blacks. And so people went down and got them and planted them all over. So we got a lot of Arkansas blacks, and they tend to have the little streak of red, which looks kind of like a wine sap, but it is in Arkansas black if it's around here, more than likely. So anyway, have a good week and enjoy your week, because we're going to have fun and eat apple pie and drink juice and go to the farmer's market, and you'll find all those apple goodies happening.